I know, that's what I was thinking.
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service. Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
This is This Week on CISN.
Hi, Ron here,
brought to
head
you
coach
by
of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a
This is This Week on CISN, brought to you by TST20.com, your online personal trainer. We are live from Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill in Ankeny. This is This Week.
Welcome to CISN.
Are we on?
This week, we are at Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill on Ore Labor in Ankeny. I'm Jimmy Olsen with Dar Danielson. Here once again. Well, we didn't last week. Weather's been a little crazy here in Central Iowa.
Well, it's getting that way out there tonight, so...
I think we're sleeping here tonight. I don't know that we're actually going to be going home. I'm not really sure. But either way, a lot of great games this past week on CISN.TV.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff going on with basketball and a makeup game on Monday night.
You're making up a game?
No,
what?
we did make up a game Monday night, which
I thought you were doing a Ronald Reagan thing. You were just like reading some play-by-play of a fictitious game or something.
That'd be interesting to try. Off the wire, but they don't even have the wire service anymore. Well, I guess you'd tweet it, read it
That's
off
right.
the tweets.
Read it off the tweets.
Anyway, you could do that nowadays as they tweet out the what happened in the ball game. You could just
Absolutely. So the games that we had this week, including the makeup game.
Oh, you want to talk about those?
Yeah.
Well, Waukee Valley, and that was the same result. Waukee winning over Valley again in that one. One of the things that everybody's talking about is Caitlin Clark's 60 points. And she's run off a string where she had games in the 40s and then in the 60. And then I think the key thing about that is they've won like 3 of those last 4 games. You score 45 points and you lose, it's like, okay, but when you're scoring that many and you're also winning,
right,
and that tells you other things are starting to fall into place. That was the second all-time scoring total in girls basketball, the 60 points. So it's going to be interesting to see now as Dowling getting on a run toward the end here. Waukee seems to be that way. They beat Valley in that game we did Monday night. Johnston is playing well. Centennial's still right in there, so I don't think girls 5A has really kind of been decided yet. Waukee boys took their first loss, but are bouncing back, so, and they also lost one of their key players and that. So it's going to be interesting as we get here down the stretch. The end of last week here in February, CISN.TV will have the girls state tournament streaming for you live.
You can catch all that here. And again, if you've not subscribed to the CISN.TV YouTube channel, you want to do that. You'll get notifications letting you know whenever we go live with either wrestling or football or soccer or baseball or basketball, whatever it is that we'll be covering. You can get all of the action. And if there's a game that you missed, you can always go back and rewatch those too.
Yeah, and wrestling's heating up too. And wrestling Thursday night?
Tonight. Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, tonight.
It's happening at the same time.
Oh.
So there's 2 streams right now. You can watch us or wrestling.
Oh. What a choice.
Not 1, but 2.
And if you're in your car, don't watch either on your phone while you're driving because it's slick out there. Trust me. But yeah. So a lot going on as we head toward the wrestling, districts and state championship and all that. And it all comes boom, boom. And then, on top of that, we got the NCAA tournament here again in Des Moines this year for the college men. So,
as always, it's going to be a busy March.
Central Iowa gets busy at the end of February and the start of March. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
So lots of great games that, again, from last week, some more great games that are also coming up that you can check out on CISN.TV. Again, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to do that so you can get the notification, let us know when those games are on.
Yeah, and we'll have some more, like Saturday we'll have a makeup game. The Waukee Valley boys will be a makeup game that we'll have. And that's going to be interesting, too, because that was a 2-point. Waukee held them off at home by, I think it ended up being a 2-point ball game at the end. And Valley hit a 3 to cut the 5-point lead to 2 at the buzzer. So, and we'll see how that goes on Saturday. Friday night we have games, too. So, yeah, just keep watching the schedule. And I'm kind of tap dancing because the schedule's moved around so much.
Dar cannot remember.
I can't remember what I had for lunch this afternoon. So,
he's texting Pete every day. Pete, am I somewhere tonight?
Yeah, and I put it in my phone, and then Pete calls me and says, "Hey, you got to be here." So.
That's right.
Saturday moves from 3 o'clock to 1:30, the start time. Well, that's a little better because then you get done at that game, and then you have the afternoon.
Then Dar has time to go home and take his nap.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. So
you're not too far off there, my friend. You're not too far off. I'll tell you that.
Also, don't forget, we also have the play of the week that we share with you on CISN.TV this week. So if you get a chance, you see a great play at a game that you're at, share that with us on Twitter or Facebook. You can just tag us on Twitter at CISN.TV or on Facebook to do the same, and we might have your play of the week right here. We'll be having the Lightsmith video of the week. We'll be doing that a little later on in the show as well. We'll have
Pink Shoes is in the house. People
Shoes?
Out there will know what that means. Yeah.
I don't know. So as I was saying, we'll have the rankings later. I'm not sure if he's talking about Flynn with the pink shoes or not. I don't know.
Nope.
But
nope,
anyway.
Nope. People who follow girls basketball will know what that means.
All right. So that and so much more on CISN.TV this week. For Dar Danielson, I'm Jimmy Olsen. We're at Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill in Ankeny on Ore Labor.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community. You want to get stronger.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
Welcome back to CISN.TV. This week, we are at Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill in Ankeny on Orr-Labor. I'm Jimmy Olsen with Flynn Heald, and it's time for the Lightsmith video of the week. But before we get to those, there was some big announcements made earlier today, and Flynn was feverishly doing some last-minute prep, finding out, but there were some signings announced today. So what did you find on those?
That's right. Today is the first Wednesday in February, so it's National Signing Day. We found a couple local athletes on the Iowa Prep Sports page for football, specifically speaking. We have an athlete from Norwalk committed to Iowa, Tyler Enders. Chris Reams from Van Meter, defensive end, committed to Iowa. Jake Remsburg of Valley High School, an offensive lineman, committed to Iowa State. Nick DeJong from Pella, a defensive end, committed to Iowa. Bo Lombardi, committed as an athlete to Army. And Anthony Coleman, a DB from Johnston, committed to North Dakota State. So quite a few athletes signing letters of intent today.
Yeah, being National Signing Day, so not just in college and all that else, all that was announced today, so we're sharing that with you here. Right now, though, we've got the Lightsmith video of the week. The video is, Flynn.
That would be the Waukee soccer team. Let's give that a look.
Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill in Ankeny on Orr-Labor. That is where we are, and that was the Lightsmith video of the week. And we do that every week. Again, don't forget, if you can also see a play of the week if you see one of those at a game you are attending. Be sure to share that with us on Twitter or on Facebook. You do that at CISN.TV, and we might just have your play of the week right here this week on CISN.TV. A lot of more great stuff coming on the show this evening, including Javier Toole. He is going to be next for Flynn Heald. I'm Jimmy Olsen. It's CISN.TV this week from Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill in Ankeny on Orr-Labor.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're on the way. Family owned for nearly a G&L Clothing.
Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. You may have noticed it's starting to get cold outside, and if you're like a lot of folks, that old fireplace in your house isn't doing you much good. You need to replace that thing with a high-efficient gas fireplace from Heat & Glow. We're going to come in, take your old wood or gas fireplace out. We're going to replace it with a warm, cozy, high-efficient, easy-to-use fireplace from Heat & Glow. It'll be the best thing you ever did to your house. Come see us today, because nothing's better than a warm fire on a cold day. Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. It's starting to get cold outside, and if you're like a lot of folks, that old fireplace in your house isn't doing you much good. You need to replace that thing with a high-efficient gas fireplace from Heat & Glow. We're going to come in, take your old wood or gas fireplace out. We're going to replace it with a warm, cozy, high-efficient, easy-to-use fireplace from Heat & Glow. It'll be the best thing you ever did to your house. Come see us today, because nothing's better than a warm fire on a cold day.
Hey, are we on? All right, welcome back to CISN.TV. It is Javier with my special guest today, Brecken Stone Smith. So here on CISN.TV, we like to talk about sports, but we're going to talk about something a little different because we want people to understand here in the Metro, there's a lot of activities going on. And one thing that's going on right now, we're in the heart of, and I'm going to have Brecken explain this to me a little bit. You're a senior from Urbandale, and you participate in show choir. Yeah. And last weekend, I can tell you, I went to a show choir event, and I was in awe of what I saw. So tell me a little bit about show choir and what's going on here in Central Iowa and what's going on at Urbandale, because I think currently you guys haven't lost an event, and I want to knock on wood because I know the season's not over, that you guys haven't lost in almost like 2 years. So explain to me a little bit about what show choir is.
So show choir is technically, it's where you practically just like sing and dance at the exact same time. Okay. Usually they have like a certain limit to like where you can perform until. So like our show, we have to dance and sing at the exact same time for about 20 minutes. So it's very like time consuming. We have to go through many like, sessions through choreography and everything like that, having to go through many sessions of learning notes and everything like that to really be one cohesive group. And like Urbandale right now, we're actually getting ready for like our Urbandale Invitational this weekend. It's a really big event. It's been going on for about 35 years. So like, it's really important, especially like in the Urbandale community.
Okay, so show choir is a lot bigger than just here in Central Iowa. But what you guys in the beginning of the season went over to Lincoln, right? And there's a big show choir event over there, and you guys won that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so preparation for this season, and I'm watching you guys last weekend, and I'm just amazed. What does it take? Because you guys are up there for 15 to 20 minutes, nonstop moving, singing and breathing. I probably would have passed out myself. And I was like, holy smokes, tell me what your conditioning is to get ready for this.
It's actually a lot harder than a lot of people think. Like a lot of people think that you kind of just, go through the motions. It's kind of like fun and games, but it's actually, it takes a lot of time in order to actually be presentable, at least in front of judges. We start doing choreography sessions like a week before school starts. So, and usually our choreography sessions take time, being able to actually really perfect things and everything like that. Like it actually takes like a lot of time and a lot of energy.
And the hours you guys put in, let's talk about that. So a lot of nights I know that you don't get home until very, very late.
Yes.
So tell me, like, what is a normal show choir practice, like the hours that you run? Especially, let's go before season.
Before season, yeah. Before season, it's usually just about once a week, kind of like let us kind of like, get settled into school and really get like settled into our lives. But then it really starts to take up a lot. On Mondays we usually are there from like 6:30. Sometimes we're pushing like 9:30. We like to go for at least 2.5 hours, almost 3. And then
holy smokes.
On Thursdays we actually come back for about another 2 hours.
So I went over to show you. I have never one area. So many cops here. They're like, do you understand the amount of money that goes to this and people? But I got to experience something that was really neat. So you guys are getting ready for awards. So this is where I'm going to come in. I'm going to ask you this question before we're done. Awards is a very serious thing.
Yes.
Right. And when they're announcing the awards, there's a lot of different things. What is the feeling in a gym that's packed like it is when they call your guys' name out for the championship?
It's honestly like the most anxiety filled time that like our group can actually go through. The one thing that I've always loved about show choir is that we're very supportive on like whatever we get. Second, third, fourth, like not even place. Like we don't really care as long as we put 110% effort into it. That's all what really matters. But listing down like all of the names and all of the groups and like the places, like it gets very like anxiety, especially when we get around like third place and our name hasn't been called yet. It gets really like, oh my gosh. But then especially
like I'm getting chills when you're
talking
about
literally like actually. But then as soon as they call first place, and especially if it's like hopefully our name, like it's very nice. Like it's kind of like you can finally like relax and finally being able to like actually like say that you did it. So yeah.
So we're gonna take a little break right here, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about your future and the future of show choir here in the Central Iowa. Okay.
Great price, great selection, great experience. That's what people expect today. What isn't expected is how hard we work after the sale to keep your business. Hard work, honesty, integrity, discipline, trust, character. These core values are why we grow every year and why we continue to acquire more dealerships. Experience the Schottenkirk way of doing business and come visit our dealership in Indianola.
Moms typically get to make a majority of the healthcare decisions for their family. That can be a lot of pressure, but not for me, because I know the choice is ours. For medical tests like MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, and of course mammograms, ask your doctor to refer you to Iowa Radiology. They work around our hectic schedules. They're the best at what they do, and they're so great with my family. They truly care, and it shows. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule an appointment. Iowa Radiology. Our focus is your good health.
All right, we are back here with Brecken. And Brecken, we're going to go into a little bit about your future. But I have to tell you, my son is now in show choir.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, they won.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is a whole new experience for me. And I'm a sports fanatic. I'm a big dude. We've had conversations over and over again about, is show choir sport? I know it's not an associated sports with the Iowa Sports Athletic Place yet. But I have to tell you, the amount of people that I saw there, and like I'm looking at my business partner, Justin Smith, because we've had this conversation. it's just amazing. But I want to talk to you because now we're talking about your future.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to go to South Dakota State on a scholarship
Yeah.
to do show choir. Is that something that's going to interest you?
Yeah, most definitely. Especially, like show choir's been my life for the past like 6 years. It's something that I've always like kind of put everything into. So like being able to like really continue my future onto that, especially on a scholarship to a school that I absolutely love, it's actually like it's very rewarding. I felt like this was all kind of worth it in the end. So yeah.
That's awesome. I'm going to pull up a couple pictures. We had showed these before. So Brecken, I feel like show choir can start at a very early age.
Yeah.
Like something that people love. Royce is already part of it. He's 8th grade. As a matter of fact, they just said something about Bo Lombardi, quarterback. I think he did show choir over at Valley.
Yeah.
So Brecken, you've been doing show choir since you were in 8th grade?
7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
Those pictures, Pete? We're going to pull these bad boys up. And it's up right now. So
Oh, no.
once it comes up here, and there it is. That's one of the first
no.
pictures I think of your show
Yeah,
choir
that's
career.
literally- oh,
and there's something
God.
about, I think you're probably center stage already right there. And being center
Yeah.
stage at show choir is a big deal.
Yeah.
But if there's one more that I got to show, and this is I think this year or maybe last year.
Oh, no.
And picking pictures of you is hard because this is where I don't think people really understand the conditioning that goes into it.
Yeah.
Your face may be the brightest red I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized this
We're
for the first
definitely-
time. Is it because it's hard
Oh,
to breathe?
no.
Are you gasping for air right there?
Actually, like I literally am. Like I'm literally about to die right there. Yeah.
So we just had to show media. But Brecken, if you could sell this to anybody in Des Moines Metro,
Yeah.
and I don't think you really have to sell it as much anymore because it's
Mhm.
become such a huge thing.
Yeah.
And this weekend, Urbandale's going to experience something big at their
Yeah.
school. Tell somebody if they weren't sure, about show choir, if they wanted to try it out, what are some benefits and why should they try out show choir?
I would honestly I feel like it's really honestly like kind of put me out there. Like, like I've always was kind of like a really shy kid kind of growing up and everything like that. And I'm still shy to this day, but like being able to put yourself on that stage and perform in front of like thousands and hundreds of people, like it really starts to break you out of your shell. It really starts to make you see something that you never saw in yourself. Like being able to perform and being able to travel around, go to different competitions. It really put me out there and really I really got to meet people that like I've called my best friends for the past like 6 years, people that I would not have met if I wasn't in show choir. So like it's not just about competing or winning a trophy or like getting grand champions. It's really about building the bond with people and really like calling people like your really close friends and everything like that. So like it's honestly like my second family. So yeah, I would definitely do it for anybody.
Perfect. Brecken, I want to thank you for being on the show today because number one, you're getting the word about show choir out.
Yeah.
We did talk about if you think it's a sport. Brecken, do you think show choir is a sport?
It's definitely a sport. Honestly, like 100% it is a sport. So if anyone doesn't think that, I don't know what you're thinking too.
There we go. We answered the question. Brecken, I want to thank you one more time for being on the show.
Thank you.
And good luck on the rest of the season. Hopefully you guys can keep that undefeated
Yeah.
streak going. And if you guys are out there, please stop out at Urbandale this weekend for the 2019 Urbandale Show Choir Show. We will see you guys soon.
Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. You may have noticed it's starting to get cold outside, and if you're like a lot of folks, that old fireplace in your house isn't doing you much good. You need to replace that thing with a high-efficient gas fireplace from Heat & Glow. We're going to come in, take your old wood or gas fireplace out. We're going to replace it with a warm, cozy, high-efficient, easy-to-use fireplace from Heat & Glow. That'll be the best thing you ever did to your house. Come see us today, because nothing's better than a warm fire on a cold day. Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. You may have noticed it's starting to get cold outside, and if you're like...
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
We are back on CISN.TV. It's Javier here with your TST20 Fit Tip of the Week with my friend Aaron Anderson from, say it?
Fresh Fit Meals.
Fresh Fit Meals. Okay, I always get kind of tied up with that one. So Aaron, I'm glad you're on the show today because you're on the show for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're trying to get Iowa's healthy and active as possible. And you guys are feeding not only student athletes, but adults, healthy food, giving us education in the importance of, food and nutrition and how that can play into your life. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do over there.
So Fresh Fit is basically designed, it's all meal prep. So we're going to make all the food in Urbandale. right off Hickman Road, exit 125. We're at 58 meals right when you walk in the store. All the calories, proteins, carbs, fats, starch, sugars will be calculated for you. And all you have to do is decide which meal you want. It takes 90 seconds to heat up, and you're good to go from that aspect.
Okay. And I've been in your store before. Your store is really cool. And like you said, there is a freezer right when you guys walk in.
Fridge.
Yeah, it is a fridge. And the other cool thing I like about your store is you can see the food getting made. But one of the things that you guys have in there that's really cool is you guys have that in-body. And if you could explain to here what the in-body is and what that can do to help you understand your food and how many calories you need, that would be great.
So what's super cool about the in-body is it's going to measure your basic metabolic rate. People that go on meal plans, it's kind of what our baseline is, and we got to judge their activity level. So how many calories you're burning at rest. So it'll give us that number. And from there, it's going to break down your weight, skeletal muscle mass, and body fat mass. So it's super cool machine and very beneficial.
And does that work just on anybody, like high school kids, adults?
Yep, anyone.
Okay, so when we're coming in to do a meal plan, you're going to put us on that scale, you're going to show it to us, and you guys are going to be able to designate the food and the quantity of food that I'm going to need?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's actually probably what I need. All right. So when we bring you guys on our show, we want a couple of health tips. And one of the health tips I know that you know and understand, being a wrestler, and that's the other reason I brought you on. I'm a big wrestling fan, and I know you wrestled in high school and in college. But can you tell student athletes and their parents the importance of health and nutrition, why being active in high school sports?
Yeah, so it's huge. I mean, like when I was wrestling, cutting all that weight, I mean, most of it was water. You're not really eating. You're eating about 5 to 1,000 calories when you're cutting down. That's not healthy.
No.
One, it's basically kind of stunting your growth a little bit. From that aspect, you need to have those calories. So the more active you are, the more calories you need, and actually the more calories and weight you lose. It's kind of a weird concept that people come to the store ask me all the time about that. So people always think they need to restrict 100% of their calories. Actually, sometimes you need to eat a little more and actually boost your metabolic rate, and then you lose the weight faster. It's weird.
Okay, no, that's good. So we have a lot of young student athletes who are trying to get a little bit bigger, trying to get a little bit more nutrition. If they come into your store, are you going to be able to help them understand what it's going to take for them to put on the lean muscle mass, or maybe the size that they need just to get a little bit bigger to help them with their sports?
Yep, that's not hard at all. Do it all the time.
So do me a favor. Explain to me right now, if I'm coming in, I'm a sophomore in high school, I want to play football next year, and I need to put on like 10 pounds.
Get in the weight room, eat right, and it's really simple. It's really easy.
I think you made that question almost too simple for me. All right, let's go back to what you guys do. You guys are also almost a nationwide brand. You guys are now in a couple of other cities. Yep. Can you explain where you guys are at?
Midland, Odessa, Texas.
Okay.
So if you're familiar with Friday Night Lights, it's those two football teams basically squaring off, and that's where we're actually located. It's kind of those two high schools.
Okay. So you guys are continuing to move around, and you guys are also combined kind of with ownership with a 5-star nutrition.
Yep, 5-star.
So that's right beside you guys?
Yep, correct. So in Urban Hill, 5-star is technically the parent company, or more of that sister company-wise, or that startup realm, where they have 60, 70 plus stores of all supplement shops, and we have 3 food stores. So it's kind of a cool concept to really kind of pair the two. We do a lot together in that aspect.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about your wrestling career, a little bit about Clarion, Iowa, and Central College. So we'll be back with Aaron from Fresh Fit Meals in 1 second.
Great price, great selection, great experience. That's what people expect today. What isn't expected is how hard we work after the sale to keep your business. Hard work, honesty, integrity, discipline, trust, character. These core values are why we grow every year and why we continue to acquire more dealerships. Experience the Schottenkirk way of doing business and come visit our dealership in Indianola.
So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service. Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
All right, we're back here with Aaron Anderson from Fresh Fit Meals. He's kind of explained a little about what you guys have done. So we like to bring some of you guys on our show too, because you guys were also athletes in your day. And I'm going to bring up a couple pictures of you, okay? So let's start with your high school career. Let's talk about how you did in high school, because I heard a rumor tonight that maybe you were 40-0 at one time in your high school career in
Maybe.
Clarion.
It's a little upsetting.
So explain to us this picture that's going to come up. But as it comes up, explain to us what your 40-0 career looked like.
I mean, it was a really good. It was a senior year. Nice. My
that's an intense picture.
That's a real intense picture. My junior, I didn't qualify for state. My freshman, sophomore year, I did, and that junior year kind of just, basically solidified. I need to work harder, get in wrestling room, weight room, eat right, continue the right things. Senior year came around, I just hit this streak and kept going and going and going. I mean, really. I had some close matches, but nothing that I felt like I wasn't going to win. And then state finals came around, going into it, 40-0. That was just a rough match.
Were you ranked
overall.
number 1 in the state at that time?
I was number 3 at that time.
Okay. So we're going to show you one more picture, and you probably don't want to see this picture because I didn't know that you were 40-0 at the time. So this picture might sting a little bit. But I'm pretty sure life in sports and high school is about the experience. So this one right here,
guy.
is this where you got second place?
Yep, that was the guy.
So I apologize for holding this one up. But can you tell us a little bit about, with the wrestling season coming to a hoe here in Iowa, we're getting ready for the state wrestling tournament.
Yep.
Tell us about the atmosphere at the state wrestling tournament.
I mean, it's one of the best atmospheres you probably ever go to. I mean, I'll go to the state tournament and state finals just for the atmosphere and watch wrestling, of course. But, I mean, it was probably one of the coolest experiences to really kind of walk into that grand march. And my coach at the time, Kurt Morgan, was like, "Don't look up." I'm like, "What do you mean? Don't look up?" So I'm just walking straight, and he's like, "Look up and feel comfortable." So I look up, and there's just thousands of people. And at that time, there's two four-time state champs awarded that year with Corey Clark and Meeks. So it was kind of, I was right in the middle of those guys, so it was packed. It was sold out crowd, so it was really cool. But losing in front of that kind of stuff, it was still fun.
Well, do me a favor, before we close it up here, give us one more sales pitch about your Fresh Fit Meals. And don't forget, if you stop in, you get these awesome t-shirts. I was going to put it on because I'm sure it's going to make me look big, because I know you'd probably bring in the smallest shirt for me just to help my ego out.
I mean, I have to.
But give us one more sales pitch. Tell us where you're located at and let everybody know what you guys are doing.
So we're located on exit 125, Urbandale, right by 5-star in front of Lifetime. From that, we 58 meals ready to pick and choose from. Meal plans ready to go if you like that. If you need help with those health goals, average price is roughly $7.25 per meal. 90 seconds to heat up. No frozen foods, preservatives, additives in there. And then you're done.
Perfect.
Simple.
Aaron, I want to thank you for being on here.
Thank you, Javier.
We will be over at your store shortly. Awesome. This is Javier from CISN.TV. We will be back in a little bit.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game, Shields.
Fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it. Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Hi, tonight on Face Behind the Scene, we have someone that's very special, who's a product of girls' high school sports and part of the athletic union. Now she is the face of the athletic unions. Tonight we have Executive Director Jean Berger with Iowa Girls Athletic Union. Just a little bit about Jean. She was hired in 2016, started September 1 of 2016, and she's done a lot of things. So she's been a face behind a lot of jobs. She was at UNI as an interim athletic director and had a bunch of other responsibilities, football being one. She was at Drake as an associate athletic director, then Wayne State, Wichita State as sports information. She's kind of done it all. She's an area girl. She went to Winterset High School, played softball and basketball, and then she went on to the great University of Iowa to become a Hawkeye, and she got her undergraduate degree in journalism. I kind of looked at it, I thought journalism, but then she went on to get her master's in phys ed and also sports administration.
Correct.
It's great having you tonight, Jean, and just kind of want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the athletic union. But first of all, when you first got this position, what was the footprint you wanted to lay down as being the first female executive director of the Girls Athletic Union?
Well, you know, Jackie, for girls, it's so important that they can look around and see somebody doing, so they can think and believe they can do it. So for sure, I wanted to get out and about, and I wanted to everybody to know that there was a female heading up an all-female organization dedicated to 70,000 girls in the state of Iowa. But I think, you know, the Girls Union, even when I came in, they operated at a very high level. Nationally, Iowa is really known for its high school athletics. And, you know, a good example, we have 40 teams at a neutral site for a week-long basketball tournament, okay? Indiana, which calls itself, you know, the state of basketball, right?
Yes, correct.
They have 5 classes, but they don't bring anybody to a neutral site until the championship game. They're all out at high schools. That's a fundamentally different experience for those kids. So we were operating at a very high level, but the number one thing I think was we had to put the focus back on the kids. Mr. Cooley said he wanted the Iowa girl to walk down the street and know that she could hold her head as high as any boy. And that's really still one of our mantras that we want to get back to. The Iowa girl is our focus in our championships.
So you've taken his slogan or his belief and you've really just kind of brought it back in this century, basically.
And you know, with a little more marketing and a little more emphasis and some promotion, just to get people to pay attention. You know, we were talking earlier before, and I bought pink shoes for everybody at the Girls Union. And it was really just a sign to them that we were going to hit the ground running. It was a team building thing. But, you know, then I decided, well, pink shoes could go out and watch games. And pink, and you know, so just the color pink has taken off, and in a significant way, social media wise for us. So some of that was just luck, dumb luck but it has been, the girls are our focus. How they play is our focus. We want our best teams to qualify for the state tournament.
Well, and I also have seen, since you've been part of the athletic, you know, you are the athletic union, that you are much more visible, which we didn't see in the past, that you're right down on the floor, that you're right part of everything, which I think is important for the girl to see that.
Yeah. I think, you know, and we need female coaches, we need female officials, we need female everything, so that when they see, you know, oh, I could do that. We just got done this last week interviewing the 6 finalists for the Cooley Scholarship, significant scholarship that we give to the Cooley. And one of the finalists wanted to be the executive director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. How do you not love that?
You gotta love it.
Love it.
Yes, exactly.
And she wanted to be involved in promoting girls so they know that they could achieve something. So it's a good message.
And it's rarity, because lots of times you don't hear a young lady say
No,
that. So
but
you're doing something right.
I guess I am.
Okay, let's talk about the upcoming state tournament. It's our 100th year.
100th.
That's a long time.
I know. 1920 is the first recognized state tournament. Correctionville beat Nevada 11-4. But the Girls Union wasn't in existence until 1927. And in my research, I discovered that the first girls game that we know about was in Dubuque in 1898.
Oh, wow.
Now, Naismith is credited with inventing the game in either 91 or 92. Think about that. 6 years after the game, there were girls in Iowa playing. And they've been playing ever since. So, 100 tournament, and we've got a lot of fun events. We're going to have a 6-on-6 game at halftime of the 1A championship. Most of the people have never seen 6-on-6 basketball, Jack, that come to our tournament.
Well, when you think about it, was it 93 was the last year that we had it? So those people are like 40 now, you know, and they have young kids. So our younger generation has no clue.
So we're going to have a little 6-on-6 game with some play-by-play. No, you can only dribble twice. No, you can't touch the ball outside the lane, things like that. We're doing a coaches panel with some Hall of Fame coaches. Some advice to our younger coaches. What do they think of the game? What should we do to make the game better? That will be a good opportunity for our coaches. We found the oldest living Iowa girl. She's 106 years old, and she played basketball in the 1930s.
Oh, my Lord.
And we have a 103-year-old, a 101-year-old, and as of today, we probably had 45, 90 or more that all played basketball in the state of Iowa.
So how many of those are going to be part of the celebration?
Well, we're going to invite them all back. Some obviously are not able to travel and that sort of thing, but as many can come back. Working to try to get some of that verbal history and pictures, a then and now picture, if we can, of our Iowa girls.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things we're doing to help recognize the history and tradition of our sport, and so it'll be a good state tournament.
And then you also have the 50-year anniversary of the team that won in, 19?
Yeah. And the 50-year team this year is Montezuma. Of course, Sandy Van Cleve was the prolific scorer for Montezuma. And so they'll be back, and they'll be honored. They still hold the record for most games won in a row, 89. That's a 50-year-old record. Do you think about that? Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So they'll be back. Our Hall of Famers will be honored. Chuck Offenberger, the Iowa boy, who was a big fan of the Girls Union before he retired from the Register, he'll be back. So
a lot of fun
things.
times, a lot of great people.
Yeah.
We'll be back after this break.
Miss your hometown clothing store, the one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
We're back with Gene Berger from the Iowa Girls Athletic Union, and we've been talking about the girls' state basketball tournament. So now we're going to kind of switch gears and talk about the teams that are going to end up there. And let me tell you, I've been to a few 5A games, and it's been crazy because there have been losses that you wouldn't think. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the upcoming rankings, what's left, and we'll go from there.
Well, you know, Jackie, we've released the brackets, so the teams know their path. And at the time we do the brackets, we look at our rankings, because we do rankings all year long, and we try to separate our powers. So we don't want our best team playing our second best team, and one of them, so we separate them out. So sometimes our brackets get a little funky, but things can change from the time the bracket comes out to state tournament. So we have final rankings, and the final rankings are important because that determines seeds at state tournament. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7. So, coaches like rankings, but they rather worry about their draw and who they play and matchups.
Yes.
So now we've had significant changes. Southeast Post lost a couple of times. They were number 2. City High lost a couple of times. Marion lost to Iowa City West in 4A. So we are going to do 1, 2, and 3 final rankings tomorrow, Thursday, and we're waiting on 4 and 5A. We're waiting because there are games this weekend, and to really be true to the games that are being played, and to the seed, because it is so important. We're going to wait on those rankings. But those final rankings next week before the brackets start and regional play starts will determine who plays who at the state tournament.
You know, I don't think in past memory that I have remembered it being this mixed up in terms of, you know, people getting beat the way they have. I mean, there's a lot of parity, probably more
Yes.
parity than what we've had. And kind of earlier we were talking about
Yeah.
all the good talent we
Yes.
have, which
Yeah.
we haven't seen before.
You know, we have great talent, top to bottom, 1, 2, 3. Montezuma, what a great story Montezuma is. Janelle Grimm played at Montezuma, played for Bill Finley at Iowa State, was an NCAA coach, and is now back home in Montezuma. Had him at the state tournament last year. You know, they have a great player that's going to the University of Iowa there. There's a young woman at Cascade that's going to the University of Iowa. The Jones girl from Iowa City High is going to Iowa State. Drake, UNI, McDermott girl from Johnson. Junior that has verbaled to UNI already. So there are great individual players. And the great thing about them is, man, they can carry their team. Yeah. And, you know, we didn't even mention Caitlin Clark or Zoe Young. And
No, we haven't got
yeah,
there
we
yet.
haven't got there yet, but we will. But, you know, so, you know, a frustrating thing for me is people say, oh, I can't watch girls basketball. It's like watching paint dry. Well, they don't understand girls basketball because it's a team game, and there are really great individual talented players and role players. They understand their role, and long time veteran coaches in Iowa. So I would say just come down and see what the color of the paint is before you decide how fast it's drying.
Give it a chance. Give
Yes,
it a chance.
yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Caitlin Clark.
Oh,
who
yeah.
just set a record and had a phenomenal night.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about it at the office, and, you know, she had 13 threes, I think.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm maybe a little bit biased from the 6-on-6 days when there wasn't a three-point line.
Right, exactly.
And I said jokingly, oh, I knew people had 60 at the half, or they weren't even trying. But what a phenomenal performance. And if you look at her line, she set a record for most three-pointers made, which had been held by Ellie Ruffridge at Pocahontas. But if you've watched her play, she's so smooth.
Yes, she is.
Very smooth player, and I think has tons of potential for the
Right.
college
well,
game.
not only score, sees the floor,
Yes,
passes.
yes.
I mean, just knows the
Yeah,
game.
so much, so well. So she'll be fun to watch. We'll see how far she can take Dowling
And
this
she's
year.
not made any
No,
indication of
I don't think
anything
so.
where she's going to go.
Well,
so.
she hasn't told me anyway.
Well, darn it. She's to call you first.
Yes, she does.
We have Zoe Young, who's going to
Yes,
Maryland.
Maryland.
To a Iowa coach.
Yes, to
from
Brenda
Iowa.
Fries,
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
She was in town to watch her play. I saw her. And so she's going out to Maryland. And I think Maryland had a top 4 in the country
Yeah,
recruiting
I think
class.
you're right now you say that.
Yeah, with Zoe. So it'll be interesting. We'll get to see her because she's in the Big Ten.
What one key thing you said
Yeah.
about all those players staying in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something we haven't had. We've had a lot of players that have left. So that says something about
Yes.
our coaching people in Iowa, the coaches that we have, and players wanting to stay in state, which is a great thing.
And I think it says something about high school specifically, because in not every state is high school ball really good enough. You know, they do club because they think that's their path.
Right.
And I think in Iowa, our coaches have done a really good job of both. You know, because after all, playing for your high school is really something. And when you get to Division I and your bio is in the media guide, it doesn't say won the Colorado Avalanche tournament. It says 5A state champions.
Right,
Led her
exactly.
team to the 5A state championship. So it is still important, and I really commend the Iowa coaches for working through and still letting their kids who want that club experience and maybe some of that exposure. But I tell girls all the time, if you're good enough to play, they will find you.
Yes, exactly.
They will find
exactly.
you. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
They'll find
Yeah,
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Jean, it's been really nice having you tonight. We hope to see you again. And don't work too hard during the week of the state tournament, but enjoy every minute of it.
Just look for me. I'll be the one in pink shoes,
Okay,
Jackie.
Thanks a lot.
Great price, great selection, great experience. That's what people expect today. What isn't expected is how hard we work after the sale to keep your business. Hard work, honesty, integrity, discipline, trust, character. These core values are why we grow every year and why we continue to acquire more dealerships. Experience the Schottenkirk way of doing business and come visit our dealership in Indianola.
Moms typically get to make a majority of the healthcare decisions for their family. That can be a lot of pressure, but not for me, because I know the choice is ours. For medical tests like MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, and of course mammograms, ask your doctor to refer you to Iowa Radiology. They work around our hectic schedules, they're the best at what they do, and they're so great with my family. They truly care, and it shows. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule an appointment. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
Like a lot of folks, that old fireplace in your house isn't doing you much good. You need to replace that thing with a high-efficient gas fireplace from Heat and Glow. We're going to come in, take your old wood or gas fireplace out. We're going to replace it with a warm, cozy, high-efficient, easy-to-use fireplace from Heat and Glow. It'll be the best thing you ever did to your house. Come see us today, because nothing's better than a warm fire on a cold day.
Welcome back to CISN. I am Flynn Hilden. Today we're having a conversation with Mike Cunningham. Mike is the varsity track coach, boys track coach at Valley High School. Mike, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you bet. I'll take any opportunity to talk about track and field.
Good, good. Well, we'll start right where you guys left off last season, which is a state championship. What was the uniqueness about that team specifically that resulted in that championship run?
You know, I think a lot of it last year, there were a lot of people that didn't think we were going to repeat. We lost a lot of pieces from our 2017 team, and it was really just the way that everybody worked so hard throughout the season to get better. That's hard to beat when they're willing to put in the work and get better on a daily basis, and that was 100% it a year ago.
And there was just a consistency in them throughout the whole season. So that's a big thing, is that consistency through the whole season. So we're looking into now this next season. Who are the early previews in the team? Give us kind of your insight on who are kind of the guys we can have a look out for this upcoming season.
Oh boy, I guess we're lucky enough on our team to have just about all of our sprinters back. So as far as the sprinters go, we've got John Shaner, Jake Keller, Ryan New, JJ Gass, Creighton Mitchell, Trey Fugate. All those guys are back from a year ago's team. So we've got some distance runners that are back. We're going to ask them to step up and score for us in the 800, 1600, and 3200. We're really lucky to have our jumpers back. We placed 4 kids in the long jump and the high jump last year. Trayvon Williams, Agwek, they both have an opportunity to really be a state champion if they put some work in. Trey Fugate again. Trey has placed 3 consecutive years in the long jump. He would have an opportunity at the 4A boys level to place 4 straight years, which is really just unheard of. And we've got some throwers too, Zach Shaner and Jake Rimsberg. So hopefully we've got a lot of the events covered. It's awfully tough though. 4A is unbelievably competitive.
So I hear a lot of multi-sport athlete names you've thrown out there. Obviously there's a determination on speed for all sports. Speed is a determining factor of athletic performance. Why do you think track is such a awesome sport to supplement? Let's say you are a baseball guy or a basketball guy. Why is track such an awesome sport to supplement in the offseason?
Yeah, you take the speed away from that, and it's there's something to be said first of all about I'm going to line up one-on-one against you, and we're going to race.
Right.
And we're going to see who's fastest. Mm-hmm. There's something to be said about that. Those kids that want that competition, or we're going to line up and we're going to see who throws the shot put the furthest, or whatever the case may be. But there's just something about that. And again, then you take away the speed aspect of it, and we're working on some fine motor skills, and you're able to move side to side and flexibility and all those things that make you a good athlete. It's not just going out and seeing how fast you can run.
Right. And so track isn't like most sports, like you were saying, where it's it's not necessarily a team sport in that you are having individuals compete. So in that sense, you kind of are or you aren't in terms of your time. Those guys who maybe aren't those varsity runners that you named right now, or maybe aren't those guys who are this season going to be competing in the state meet, how do you get those kids still invested into track and still buy in and say, this is worth my time, this season is valuable for me as an athlete?
Our head track coach, head girls and boys cross country coach, Tom Trigstead, he does an unbelievable job of building the culture of really all of that all together at Valley. And I say all together because he pulls in those multi-sport athletes, the football players
Right,
and the basketball players and the baseball players, and we've shared some soccer players, and the culture that he builds. The kids want to come and they want to get better, and they look at track as an avenue to getting better, whether it is building their speed or their lateral movement or their flexibility. They know that our coaching staff is going to work with them on those things.
Right. So individually, they are. I definitely saw the benefit, and I still see the benefit of track. There is individual athletic benefits from track specifically, but now delving back into kind of there are team aspects to track, and that is relay running. Which relay team this upcoming year do you think maybe has the best chance to repeat or maybe have their first championship this year?
And the relays are our strength.
Yeah.
We didn't play. We placed in one sprint last year, sprint open event, and the relays. Boy, it's hard to not say the 4x400 because we're returning state champions,
right.
but. I just listened to a podcast for the Iowa Association of Track Coaches yesterday, and they seem to think we might be the favorite in a couple different relays. So
that's what I've heard as well.
It's going to be really interesting. The kids have been working really hard in the off season. They are getting better, exactly like they did from 2017 to 2018. We've got a lot of those kids back. We're going to look for the 4x1, the 4x2, and the 4x4 to all be competitive. The new sprint medley relay. This is just the third year of it. But we also, we need to be able to place in the medley relay, the distance medley relay, and the 4x800, and that's what's going to make us strong. And then you look at the hurdles as well. The shuttle hurdle relay. What a great event! And they actually have raised the hurdles this year, and it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
So one thing that I've always found interesting in track is that you'd think that the fastest guys always win, and obviously, hypothetically speaking, that is true. But you have injuries that come up. You have poor timing of the season. Maybe kids aren't, eat a bad day of eating. There's a lot of factors that go into it. What is so important about, and the uniqueness of track, about hitting at the right time?
Oh, probably the most important aspect, actually.
Yeah.
And last year with the weather that we had, it was horrible to gauge that. But you have you look for in relays. You've got to have a good corner runner. You've got to have somebody good out of the blocks. You've got to have kids that can handle the baton.
Right.
If they might be the fastest kid on your team, but if they can't handle the baton and we're not going to get it around the track, they can't be on that relay. So we have kids that really buy into that. They know all those particular skills they need, the aspect of bringing all those together, and again, that's something that they have bought into, and the team culture of our event or of our sport.
So the last thing I'm going to ask you before I hit the speed round is there anything specific you would like to say to the viewers out there who, is there anything that you reiterate for your guys, maybe a specific terminology or technique that maybe could help the listeners at home and their young athletes develop into, a faster athlete?
I guess the one thing I would say would be make sure that you're well-rounded.
Yep.
If you practice one thing over and over, if you practice hitting a baseball or setting a volleyball, that's what you're going to be good at. You need to be well-rounded. You need to work on your flexibility, your lateral movement, your the fine skills of running fast. There's a rhyme and a reason to why our kids are fast, and it's I guess I would say to the parents, make sure you're building that entire athlete.
All right, and then the last thing I have for you is obviously the speed round. Can't leave you here without that. So, all right, first thing that comes to your mind, go ahead and hit the button. Okay, favorite sport other than track?
Basketball.
Pre-competition snack for your athletes you recommend?
Applesauce.
Do you have a favorite TV show?
I don't really watch TV.
All
Anything
right,
sports.
We'll skip that one. Favorite professional sports team?
Oh, professional sports team. Boy, that's a tough one. Yankees.
Okay, would you rather have a giant cookie or a big bowl of ice cream?
Oh, cookie, absolutely.
Okay, all right, two more, okay? A special shout out to maybe one team in particular that your best track, the best team you've coached out there over the years.
Best team I've coached, I'm going to have to say last year.
Okay.
It's hard to beat state champs.
And then if you could pick two of your athletes to help you complete an Army obstacle course, which one of those athletes would they be?
Oh, boy. The current athletes?
Current athletes.
Current athletes. I'm going to say John Shaner.
Okay.
He will not quit.
Yep, that's right.
And I will say Creighton Mitchell because of his work ethic.
Special shout out to you special athletes from Coach Cunningham. Coming up next, we've got Dar and Jimmy coming back to finish up with This Week in the Rankings.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Welcome back to CISN.TV. This week, I'm Jimmy Olsen with Dar Danielson. As we get into the rankings, we're going to start off with the girls like we do every week, which we know there'll be new rankings for the girls tomorrow. But how are they looking right now?
Well, kind of jumbled maybe. Because we know, City High lost to Dowling.
Okay.
On that Saturday game. We also know Southeast Polk, which was number 2, lost to Johnston. Johnston was number 3. So does that mean that Johnston will move up over Southeast Polk and Iowa City High, which both lost? I don't know. But Johnston.
But as of right now.
And we do know that Valley, so Iowa City High was number 1. They lost to Dowling.
Okay.
Southeast Polk, number 2. They lost to Johnston. Prairie is number 4. I'm not sure. I didn't look up what they did. Valley's number 5. They lost to Waukee.
Okay.
Cedar Falls is 6. Waukee is 7. They beat Valley, which was number 5, and they're number 7. So you would think they would move up.
You would think.
Pleasant Valley's number 8. Ankeny Centennial number 9. Iowa City West at number 10, and Dowling was number 11. And you think Dowling would move up since they've been on a run here. Cedar Rapids Wash is 12. Urbandale 13th. Ames 14th, and Bettendorf 15th. So things will switch around a little bit. Now, the only thing that matters is your record and where you're seated, but I think that'll be pretty well. The brackets are set.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring those brackets in 5A, but anyway.
They're in the truck.
Those are the
Oh, they released them a night early?
Oh,
Okay.
I was reading the girls' rankings. I wasn't reading the Des Moines Register rankings. Oh, these are the Register rankings. Well, they had Johnston already at number 1.
Okay.
Valley 2, Cedar Falls 3, Southeast Polk at 4, Waukee at 5, Prairie of Cedar Rapids at 6, City High at 7, Pleasant Valley at 8, Iowa City West at 9, and Marion at 10. I was reading from the Girls Association, which will update tomorrow.
Right.
This was the Register updated today.
Right.
In the different sets of rankings. So I would say they're probably going to look, although Valley losing at number 2 there, but you don't know. With girls, they're so close in 5A that you may lose one and win one and still move up. So
right.
Anyway.
So so that's girls again. Girls are going to be changing tomorrow. It is CISN.TV this week. I'm Jimmy Olsen with Dar Danielson. We're at Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill in Ankeny and Ora Labor. And as we move from the girls, we go in and now where are the boys looking for the rankings this week?
Well, yeah, I've got those right here.
He had the other ones too. He just wasn't reading those.
I had the other ones, but I was reading the Girls Association since Jean was here, and I didn't want her to yell at me. No, not that she would. No. Okay, she's back there. She couldn't hear that, so we're fine, people. No, I was just, we work so well with the Girls Association. I wanted to read their rankings too. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, okay.
All right. So
Peter brought up the other ones. So
the boys' rankings look like.
Okay, and these are the ones that you see on the screen that are the
That's
Register
right.
rankings. Yes. North Scott, number 1. I think they're the only undefeated team yet in boys' rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Bettendorf, number 2. Waukee, which lost their first game, is at number 3, but they also lost Noah Hart, one of their starters, and they had somebody out with the flu in that game they lost, which is a close game. So Waukee's still right in there. Dubuque Senior, number 4. Cedar Falls, number 5. Iowa City West, number 6. Sioux City East, number 7. Valley at number 8, Grandview Christian at 9. Well, see, now these are the super, these aren't the all, and Des Moines North at number 10. These are the Super 10 ratings.
Well,
so that's how Grandview Christian got in there.
Which could be interesting when the ratings come out, because after the upset that North had with Dowling earlier this week.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's why North is a 10, see.
Right.
They rate them a little differently on the boys. They do their Super 10 ratings there.
Welcome to the mind of Dar Danielson.
Yeah. Well, no, that explains, because I was reading the girls' association and the register ones were up there.
Okay. So what do we got for games coming up this week?
Are you saying I'm confused?
I'm
No.
not saying
Who's,
anything, but you said it, not
yeah.
me.
Oh. Who do we have at Ankeny on Ames is at Ankeny.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Saturday, Waukee boys are at Valley, which I'll be behind the headset on that one. And
you'll be behind the. Isn't it better to be inside the headset rather than behind it?
No, you want to be behind it. If it's behind you, then you can't hear anything.
But then you won't hear the headphones, so you won't hear yourself.
This has devolved into, and all I've had to drink is water tonight.
That's what he says.
But no, I have really seriously.
And of course, tonight we did have wrestling with Valley. In fact,
Yeah, that's going on right now.
Yeah.
And Pat Curtis and Keith Bornas on there.
Yeah. So, again, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to get subscribed to that. So whenever we go live with a game or with CISN.TV this week, you can always tune in and check that as well. And any games you might have missed during the season, go back and check those games out also, and just kind of see where things are so you can catch up.
Yeah,
Again,
there's a bit of a scramble toward the end of what we're doing that Saturday game is, we had the cold and games canceled, and so like we did the Monday night game with Waukee and Valley girls, they're trying to scramble to get them all in their schedule before the postseason happens, and so that's why things are off a little bit on the games.
Trying to get everything taken care of before state happens. Remember, if you've got a play of the week, share that with us. You can do that on Twitter or Facebook. So do that with @CISN.TV, and we might just have your play of the week right here this week, or actually it would be next week on CISN.TV. For the entire gang tonight, Dar Danielson, I'm Jimmy Olsen from Thunderhead Sports Bar and Grill in Ankeny on Ore Labor. It's CISN.TV this week, and we'll see you next week.
Great price, great selection, great experience. That's what people expect today. What isn't expected is how hard we work after the sale to keep your business. Hard work, honesty, integrity, discipline, trust, character. These core values are why we grow every year and why we continue to acquire more dealerships. Experience the Schottenkirk way of doing business and come visit our dealership in Indianola.